Hey everyone, it's Lockhart QT and here today I'm going to be talking about Call of Duty as of the 29th of October is officially 20 years old, which is a massive milestone. I mean, that's most of my life, which makes me feel quite old in comparison, but yeah, Call of Duty is now 20 years old, and I wanted to do a unscripted video sort of talking about my time with the series and sort of what it means to me and whatnot. And before we go any further, I know people absolutely clown on Call of Duty because at the end of the day, Activision Blizzard make it, and yes, there have been some questionable things such as the supply drops, the operator bundles, skill-based matchmaking, all the rest of it. However, when you look back at the series, you can't help but get nostalgic just from sort of start to where we are now. It's really cool, and I just wanted to talk about my own personal experience with the series. So going all the way back to Call of Duty, all the way back to 2003. The fact that Call of Duty came in at a really weird time, because during sort of the very late 90s, early 2000s, the FPS genre was just sort of budding and growing, especially online. Halo Combat Evolved came out and completely changed the game. It basically showed people that you can have, basically with Xbox Live as well, you can have online play and it be good. Halo Combat Evolved was the sort of game that came out and changed the online multiplayer scene forever. And when you look at it, the reason that I bring up Halo is because Call of Duty pretty much killed Halo, unfortunately. I know that's a whole rabbit hole for another video because technically 343 killed Halo. But when you look at it, Call of Duty came into a market where Halo and Battlefield both dominated the genre. And I'll talk about Battlefield more later on as I get to sort of Call of Duty Ghosts, where you can probably see where I'm going with this, but Call of Duty came in and just completely changed the FPS genre. Call of Duty is managed by 3 studios, being Sledgehammer, Infinity Ward and Treyarch. Those are the big 3. Obviously you've got Raven, and now you've got, Toys for Bob and Vicarious Visions that help out as well, and quite a few other studios as well, like Activision, I think it's Shanghai, I think help out as well. But those are the big 3. Those are the 3 that have actually developed their own Call of Duties. But before I get onto that, I wanted to talk about the Call of Duties that have impacted me, and I think that have impacted the industry as a whole. Starting off with COD 4. What can I say about COD 4? COD 4 came out and completely changed online multiplayer. Although I think that another game did it a lot better, COD 4 came out and it was this sort of gritty, realistic shooter with an amazing campaign. Like I know people, go on about Call of Duty, but I genuinely do think that original trilogy of COD 4, MW2, MW3 was fantastic in terms of storytelling. You can't, if you haven't played them, you can't even come out and just say, oh, Call of Duty, same game every year, because these stories were just amazing. Captain Price, Soap, Yuri, Makarov, Zakhaev, like these characters are iconic in gaming. But COD 4 not only had a brilliant campaign, had an outstanding multiplayer. You had maps like Shipment, Crash, Overgrow, and it was just such a good multiplayer, like guns like the MP5, you had hit markers, kill streaks coming into play, and these things just really changed the genre as a whole. Speaking of games that I think have just changed the landscape of gaming, I think no other Call of Duty has come close to MW2, so much so that the next Call of Duty that's coming now, MW3, is pretty much, taking MW2 and building on it. The original MW2 is one of the most iconic games of all time. Obviously you've got those classic Xbox 360 lobbies where you had people threatening each other's families.
Oh my god! Oh! Oh my fucking god! Oh! 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 No! Get the camera! Money! Oh my god!
You had quick scoping, you had all the memes that came, the high rise with the 360 no scopes and things like that. 1v1 on Rust. This was the game that really brought in the 1v1s and things like that, and the competitive scene for online shooters. Obviously Halo, again, more so did that first, but MW2, the original MW2, just came and did that first. And not only that, talking about the campaign, I thought MW2's campaign was gobsmacking, especially with, you know, Ghost and Roach and then Price, and then I thought it had, you know, they had the big cliffhanger ending. You had no Russian, which Call of Duty had some balls back then. Call of Duty had some absolute kahoonies for tackling, you know, something like that in terms of terrorism, and it was just absolutely mental. But for me, obviously, you know, I had COD 4, MW2, etc. But for me, it's always been about Treyarch. My bread and butter when it comes to Call of Duty is Treyarch, because I love Call of Duty Zombies. I've always loved Call of Duty Zombies. I've been here through the good times, the bad times. I've seen it from its inception in World at War with Nakta and Toten, all the way through to Vanguard and the upcoming MW3. And Call of Duty Zombies has been a big part of my life. I've formed lasting friendships through Call of Duty, and for that I will be forever grateful. Obviously World at War was amazing. Then you had Black Ops' campaign with the sort of weird inception moments with obviously Mason and the numbers and Frank Woods. And then you had like Black Ops 2 introducing multiple paths and story moments, and then you had absolute banger zombie maps like Kino, Moon, which was just an outstanding story and Easter egg. I still think Moon is one of the best Easter eggs of all time. I mean, you blow up the Earth. Not only that, but we got to see Samantha for the first time. Then you're getting into Black Ops 2, you had Origins and Mob of the Dead. And again, the storytelling, the music, the gameplay was just outstanding for Black Ops 2. And I thought Black Ops 2, I still think to this day Black Ops 2 has the best Call of Duty multiplayer. On top of that, has two of the best zombies maps of all time. But for me, personally, the best Call of Duty experience I've ever had that I really want to just bring into this video, Black Ops 2 is close, but for me it's Black Ops 3. Although I didn't like the campaign too much, Black Ops 3 Zombies is the GOAT. There's just no, I don't think there's any way of, you know, talking about it differently, just because you've got custom zombies where people to this day, community members, are remaking maps like Transit, Die Rise Buried from Black Ops 2, and then you got Black Ops 3 with Shadows of Evil, Dreisendrache, Gorod Krovi, these maps that are just outstanding. Like, they were just, there isn't a single bad map in Black Ops 3 Zombies. Okay, Zetsubo comes a bit close, but not only that, but you had the first ever main Zombies DLC with Zombies Chronicles. Okay, you had Resurrection in Black Ops 1, but I'm talking Zombie Chronicles, 8 remastered maps. And not only that, they weren't just remastered, they were remastered. They were fully put love into these maps. Everything was redone, tweaked and changed, and they were homages to Call of Duty's past, and that's why I'm, you know, bringing it up in this video, because I just love zombies and I love Black Ops 3. And okay, like, we've had a few duds like COD Ghosts, and then obviously you had the fact that Battlefield 4 came out at the same time. People were clowning on it. Infinite Warfare is still the most disliked video on YouTube, which I think is really funny, just because obviously that came out at a time where people didn't want a futuristic COD, so COD was like, here's a futuristic COD. Obviously Advanced Warfare, and then Vanguard as well, especially quite recently. And then it got Warzone being essentially, you know, on par with Fortnite for being one of the biggest gaming experiences currently out on the market. Warzone makes them so much money, and I've got to be honest, I understand, you know, where people are coming from with criticism and whatnot, but I am really excited for Modern Warfare 3, purely for the fact that, yeah, it's a nostalgia bait, purely for the fact of that it is all of the MW2 remastered maps. I grew up with the original MW2 back when I was a teenager, so obviously, like, actually I think I might have been younger than that. I think I would have been just starting to be a teenager when MW2 came out, the original. So it, you know, those maps for me, like Rust, Terminal, High Rise, are some of the best multiplayer maps in any first person shooter or multiplayer game. Challenge me on that. Genuinely, I think maps like, you know, Nuketown, Dome from World at War, Castle, some of these maps in Call of Duty are the best multiplayer maps ever made in video game history, like, straight up. Like, you genuinely sit down and think about it, they are. And going into the new sort of COD, I I'm excited and skeptical where COD is going, but it has been nice as I've been making this video to go back and look at Call of Duty's past, because I get very nostalgic, especially with zombies and even multiplayer and campaign. But that's sort of my rant over. I more just wanted to say happy birthday to Call of Duty, because I feel like it's a huge franchise and it's a huge milestone to get to, 20 years. So I just wanted to say to all the developers from Sledgehammer, Raven, Treyarch, Infinity Ward, Activision Blizzard, which I don't really feel like I don't really feel like thanking them, but you know, to the actual I'm not talking about the CEOs right now. I'm talking about the developers in the trenches who are making amazing music, art, story, that you're writing the scripts for, you know, things like zombies and campaign and doing programmers, general developers. Really, I wanted to say thank you for creating experiences that will last me a lifetime. Like, genuinely, I know people look at that and go, what? But genuinely, maps like Mob of the Dead, Call of the Dead, Buried, even Transit, for crying out loud. And then you've got, I've had multiplayer experiences that I can still remember from the original COD 4 and MW2, World at War, the original Black Ops on like Nuketown and stuff. So I just wanted to say to the developers, thank you so much for your hard work, your love, your dedication and your craft, because it has been, I've got to be honest, for the original CODs more so, it has been a privilege to play them, just because some of them are that good. I think it's impressive as well because some of the older Call of Duties will last a lifetime, to the fact that they're on about remastering Black Ops 2, and COD 4 has already been remastered, and MW2's campaign has already been remastered, with obviously the multiplayer maps coming back now. But what's to say in the future we don't get a Black Ops 1 remaster, or a World at War remaster, or even a remaster of the original Call of Duty from 2003, or Call of Duty 2 or 3. But with where Call of Duty is going with the reboot of the Modern Warfare series, and then you've got potentially going into the 90s with Gulf War, and then they might even return to World War 2 or World War 1, which I think would be a really cool Call of Duty title. I'm excited to see where the series goes forward. I just hope that the series stays true to itself, and I just hope it really focuses on listening to the community, because I think that's a big thing, especially with, I think Treyarch used to be really good at this. Unfortunately, they're not as much anymore, but Treyarch used to be so good at listening to the community that they would take the feedback and actually do it and implement it. Hence why we got Zombies Chronicles and things like that, because they knew the fans wanted it. They were screaming about DLC 5 for years, and we got it. And it's just these moments, for example, the Revelations Easter egg, the Horizon Dark Easter egg, the Origins Easter egg, the Moon Easter egg, World's First, watching events in Warzone live. It's just been really cool having these gaming experiences. So once again, I'd like to say thank you to all the developers in the trenches, and thank you for putting up with the corporate suits, so to speak, and thank you so much for your dedication and craft. And anyway, that's been my sort of long video talking about the Call of Duty series. Tell me in the comments below, what are some of your favourite CODs? For me, obviously, it's World at War, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, those games, especially like MW2, the original, and COD 4. And even with the more modern CODs, I do enjoy them. So I've said what mine are, so I now want to know what yours are. Tell me in the comments below, what are your favourite experiences? It might be multiplayer, it might be zombies, it might be something else, it might be Warzone, but tell me in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Happy 20th birthday, Call of Duty, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.